Hi, and welcome to another Excel demo with Rich Kerr. In this scenario, we're going to take a look at the ceiling function, which is different than round, which you may have used. And I do have a video on the channel about the round up and round down functions, but this is a little bit different. With ceiling, instead of rounding to the next integer, like taking, say, 7.3 and rounding it up to 7.5 or rounding it up to 8 or rounding it down to 7, which is what you can do with the round functions. With the ceiling function, you can round a number to the next multiple. Let's say I want to round the number 41 to the next increment of 10. Okay, so we're going to round up. In fact, I'm going to change this description to say round up to next 10. So of course we know that would be 50, right? So we would say equals ceiling. The number I'm rounding is here in A2, comma, and this parameter called significance is the multiple. So if I want to round up to the next 10, I'll select that cell there. So 41 rounded to the next 10 is 50. If it was 49, it would still be 50. But if it was 53, it rounds up to 60. Now you can also pick whatever number you want. You can say, let me round up to the next multiple of 15, right? So that's still 60, right? The next number higher than 53, that is itself a multiple of 15, is 60. So if I did say 71, then the next number up from 71, that is a multiple of 15, is 75. And so that's the basic ceiling function. And how would I use this? I mean, there's a couple of ways you could use it. One example that comes to mind is with time. So let's say you're tracking your time, or maybe your starting or ending time for work, and you want to indicate the next, say, 15 minutes. So I want to know, well, what's the next 15-minute increment if I start at work, say at 7:32, and I want to round up to the next 15-minute increment. So I'll say equals ceiling. And so the number that I want to round is just the minutes portion. So we'll do that first. I'm going to say my number is the minute from this time value. Okay. And I want to round up to the next 15. Okay. Now, this is just going to take the minute portion and round it up to the next 15. Let's format this as just a number. And so we can see that that's 45, right? So the next 15-minute increment on the minutes of 7:32 would be 45. If the start time was, say, 7:50, then the next time rounded up is by 15 is 60. But we really want this to be an actual time value. So let's modify this formula a bit. So I'm going to say time, which allows us to construct a time value from other data. So I'm going to grab the hour portion of this time value. So I want the hour from A2. And the minute portion will come from this ceiling formula that I already wrote. So it's the ceiling function with minute from A2 and 15-minute increments. And finally, the number of seconds I'll just have as 0. And then let's format this as time. So that rounds up to 8 o'clock a.m. Now, what's interesting is when you pull that time value from the drop menu in Excel, you get the seconds component whether you wanted that or not. So if you right-click and go to Format Cells, you can pick a time value that just has the AM, PM without the seconds. Okay, so let's say if I say 59, still it rounds up to 8 a.m. But the minute I cross the 8 a.m. threshold and say, okay, it's 8:01, then it's 8:15. Now, in a work environment, actually probably what you would want to do is round back to 8 o'clock. So if I came in at 8:01, I might want to say my start time was 8 o'clock. So instead of ceiling here, you could use floor. And as you might have guessed, it's essentially the same thing, but it goes the other direction. So if my start time was, say, 8:08 a.m., then it's saying my start time rounds back to 8 o'clock. So that's an example of ceiling and floor, actually. So I hope you found this useful. Please check in again soon for more Excel demos with Rich Kerr. Have a productive day.